Thank you for your infinite love, guidance, and protection, Spirit. Please use me as a conduit of light to deliver this message to whoever needs to hear it. And that whoever needs to hear this message be drawn to it like a magnet, Spirit. Rebuild imbalanced relations. If the scales are tipped, it's time to restore balance. Step forward and create harmony in your relationships. So you could have relationships that are able to come into harmony as long as there's balance, right? As long as there's reciprocity in whatever way that looks. Sometimes it's two people who have differences, but it fills each other, or it balances each other out well. So wherever that person lacks, you are better in that area, right? And wherever you might be weak in an area, they're better in that area, and it can create this balance. Also understanding what your attachment wounds are, what their attachment wounds are, what you can do to love them in the way they need to be loved, and vice versa. So everybody needs to be loved in a different way based on what they've experienced, based on what they've been through in this life, what generational curses they might be carrying, etc., etc. And we can really come into this balance if we recognize what those are in ourselves and in our partner. And when we do that, we're able to create harmony in our relationship and expand together. And when it's more than one person expanding and you're both together, it's insane how much power and joy and harmony and just how many beautiful things will start happening all around you and in your community, etc. So what a beautiful thing that we've been struggling for a long time, working through our healing process, working through our darkness. And now we'll be able to bring in our either existing relationships or future relationships into harmony because we've learned how to balance. We've come to understand what it means to come into balance, what it means to understand your partner's needs, what it means to be emotionally available, and what it looks like when somebody's emotionally available for you. Okay, we also got thinking of you, profile creeping, block content, profile search. Somebody, if you are in a relationship and you are in some type of separation, the other person has definitely been creeping on you the whole time, but maybe they've been in their cocoon too because they're trying to figure everything out. They're trying to come into that balance within themselves so they can have a healthier relationship with you. They're probably waiting and really trying to get into the right space to approach it in a healthy way. Because maybe it has gone through a lot of loops, a trauma bonding cycle, a codependency, whatever it is. But the love is there and the desire is there from both parties. It just took some healing on both parties' halves in order to come into a balance. Even if you feel like, oh, somebody's going through their crap and that's why they have to be over their healing, trust me, if this is your person and you're supposed to be with them, there's a reason you're alone too. There's a reason why you're over in your healing bubble, expanding in your own way, coming into your own realizations and connections about who you are and how you can show up healthier in relationships. Just remember, when you're alone, it's easy to think, oh, I've healed this, that, and this. But when you actually have to interact in a relationship, that's when you're truly tested. That's when you have the opportunity to respond in different ways. When certain things come back up, are we going to keep looping in the same old trauma bonding cycles, or are we going to show up in a healthier way? So don't get it twisted. We all have growth to do when it comes to relationships. Everybody has their stuff, right? And so it's important to take that time if spirit has separated you from somebody, but you know they're probably your person. Maybe you're in a twin flame dynamic like me. That alone time is critical, and really dive inside of yourself and come to that place where you can dissect all these little things that are holding you back from expanding. Okay. Let's get some more cards on it. Winds of fortune. Allow the winds of fortune to guide your sails, maneuvering through life's opportunities and challenges with adaptability. Exactly. We have to be adaptable in life. We have to be able to flow with the storms that come in and be in that calm eye of the storm and not being taken away by the winds and the rains and the chaos that comes with growth and expansion. And even though there's chaos, you know that you're coming into a more healing space when the same old chaotic situations come up, but your response to them is different. Your perspective on the situation is different. And once you really learn how to rewire your brain so you're responding to situations and your relationships and everything in different ways, the winds of fortune will take you home into those places that you've been wanting to go in your relationships. Like if you haven't got married, you want to get married, or if you want to have a child, or whatever it is for you that you've been wanting in a relationship, or that perfect relationship you've been thinking about in your mind. Does perfection exist? No. But such a beautiful, expanded union can exist for you if you just let go and also work on yourself. Let go and allow the universe to work its magic and simultaneously expand in your own individual healing journey. That way you are in the space and on the frequency level of receiving what is meant for you, what the universe wants to give you, but you have to let go of this old version of you that keeps looping in codependency and trauma bond cycles. And that person who recognizes what those cycles are, what those generational traumas and all of that baggage inside of us that we need to heal, recognizing what that is so we're able to own it, expand, own it, recognize it, then expand and take different action instead of choosing the same old way of being and saying, this is just my personality. You just have to accept me for who I am. Just accepting who you are right now. It's so funny. It's like a paradox. This whole spiritual journey is like a paradox. But just accepting where you are right now is saying, I don't want to expand. But also accepting who you are right now is just being in the moment, right? So there's always the paradox. But there's always simultaneously the being and expanding coexist together. But it's hard for our human egoic minds to really wrap our heads around what that looks like. But once you start on your healing journey and you really are expanding into these like fascinating new avenues of you that you didn't even know existed, it's wild because you see it from a different perspective. And that's what expansion is. Like, you expand into perspectives that are from every angle that you can think of. And you're like, whoa, I never would have seen it from that angle. That's why you have more empathy when you expand, because you're putting yourself in another person's shoes, another person's perspective. And you learn to do that en masse. Like, you see a situation, you see it from 10 different perspectives, right? And that's really being connected to the all, because we are connected, and you can really see it from a tree's perspective, right? If you were to chop a tree down, you would put yourself in that energy. You would, any situation you can see from so many different perspectives. And that's mastery. That's like seeing it from all the angles and then being that neutral, in that neutral space, but also being actively authentic to the character you chose to come in and play, because we all play a role for each other. So it is complex, but so simple at the same time. Just stay in the space of we're all connected and have that. When you have that connection, you can't help but have empathy for whatever it is, right? And especially yourself. Okay, we got Conduit, card 42. Amanita? I don't know. It looks like some native name. But anyways, what a beautiful card. I love the mushrooms on there. So conduit. What is a conduit? That's you shining your light. That's you connecting to spirit and bringing through what you came here to shine into this world. That's what a conduit is. I love that. Conduit. And that's what I say every single time I open one of my readings, is use me as a conduit of light. And that's what it is in every moment of my life. I want spirit to use me as a conduit of light, because that's what I came in here to do. And it's going to look different for me, right? Because I have this different personality compared to you or anyone else out there. And if you start sounding like somebody else and really scripted, that then maybe step back and say, oh, am I being the most authentic version of myself? If I am, spirit is fully using me as this conduit that I came in here to emanate and be. And if not, am I trying to fit into this box the Matrix might deem more acceptable, right? We all have fallen into that trap. We all get a little people pleasy, and that's okay. But when we can step back and recognize, oh, this is more draining than filling. This isn't of the highest version of me. This isn't something that is filling my cup. It's something that I feel obligated to do or emotionally manipulated in, right? Or something like that. And we have to really recognize that we're embodying the most authentic version of who we are in terms of where we're at on our growth journey, and that we can acknowledge that we do want to continue to expand into higher versions so we can be that conduit and be really connected as much as we possibly can. Maybe even make it our base frequency is to be in that connection so your intuition is connected on point. We're always connected but we're so distracted, we choose not to be aware of the connection because sometimes it's so subtle. You have to spend that time alone so you can see those subtle signs from the universe, synchronicity, all kinds of stuff, so you can hear where you're supposed to go next, right? Spirit's always talking to us, always. But life, right? The Matrix, right? Work, school, kids, whatever, running around, being super hustle culture, right? This is the second or third time this has come out this week. Second or third time out of this whole deck, and I shuffle them good. My softness is not a weakness. It is sacred power. Spirit really wants us to embody that. Isn't that interesting? There's a whale on the card. There's a whale on the card. And that's just interesting because whales give me the energy of being these huge, gentle giants, right? Just like elephants, they give me like a gentle, giant, intelligent animal vibe. But the thing about whales is they're in water. So the way they navigate and move around is so much more soft and so much smooth. And there's just this really relaxed way of being about them. And it says that my softness is not my weakness. It is my sacred power. And it's just such a reminder of when we embody that calm feminine energy, and this is all of us, man or woman, we need that balance in our life. A lot of people who don't have that feminine energy are not emotionally available to the people in their life, and they might be really kind people, but they just don't even recognize how they've cut themselves off in the heart area. And so if we can move with this more soft energy that is still firm and sovereign and holds healthy boundaries, right? That's where our power is. It's really so sacred to be able to respond to life and people and situations, our family, our significant other, our children, in this way that is so grounded and so soft, not reactive, but loving, not judgmental, but understanding, not critical, but full of wisdom, and understanding that if something negative happens, somebody does something towards you, or they do something acting out in their own life, that it is just expansion. It is just that additional opportunity for the universe that is presented to you or them in order to make a different decision in the name of expansion and becoming this different person, rewiring your brain to show up in life in a different way. That's what makes you sovereign. That's what makes you connected. That's what makes you a conduit. And that's where that sacred power and energy is held, in your softness, but you're also simultaneously so grounded in who you authentically are that no one can move you. No one can move you. And then you are in this receiving mode where people, places, things come into your life and they're in a vibrational alignment. They're standing in that same sovereignty. They've done that healing work too. They have reciprocity. They have healthy boundaries. And it's like, no one expects anyone to be perfect, and they understand that there's this journey, and we can create joy in the journey, or we can keep looping in our own old trauma cycles. But we are here now, balancing that energy. We are here now, coming together, being conduits, and then sailing in on those winds of fortune. Because we've allowed spirit to work its magic in our lives, guys. We truly have. I want to pull one more card. One more card, Spirit, please. One more card. These cards are just sticky. There it goes. Guys, whoever this is, the beloved, you're meant to be together. That's why I wanted to pull one more card. Balance is coming in for you guys. You have done the work, they're doing the work, and you're coming in and you're working together. And don't think it's going to be perfect, because no relationship is perfect. We're always constantly expanding, but you both have gotten to this point where you're able to understand each other. You're able to understand yourselves so you can love each other in the healthy ways. You can give, you are coming in and giving each other what you've deserved this whole time, but you just hadn't done the healing work in order to embody those versions of yourselves that can create that harmony in that relationship. And it may have looked very scary and ugly and not good for a while you guys were sorting things out. But wow, you both really have come forward. This might be out of nowhere, guys. Something tells me that you weren't really expecting it to be. It had been looping for a long time, or you've been separated for a long time, and you weren't really expecting it to come full circle because it had been so disappointing and heartbreaking. But wow, here comes Spirit in to tell you, actually, no. They've been keeping tabs on you, because that's where their heart has been this whole time. But it just took some time for both of you to get into a space of balance so you're able to come into this union and then expand together, creating this beautiful life. And don't forget, leaving this reading, your softness is your power. Don't be reactive. Stay grounded. You know what healing you've done. You know where your triggers are. You know where their triggers are. So keep that balance and stay in that energy together. If someone starts slipping, the other person will be like, hey, we're in this together, right? We need to come together, not away from each other, right? And just learning each other's love languages and what each other needs based on the trauma that they've experienced and what triggers them. And as you expand and grow, you will become safer within each other. So just like you rewiring your brain to heal on an individual level, you are rewiring your brains within this relationship and how you approach it and respond to it. And once you do that, right, and make it a pattern, after 30 days, you make it a pattern, it'll become easier. And you continue to work at it, to come forth in the relationship in a healthy way, in a grounded, sovereign, soft, and sacred way. All right, guys, this was such a beautiful reading. I love bringing forward the positivity. So we're not still looping in all these transition cycles and all this healing. We get, after a while, we're like, yeah, I feel like I know myself by now. Like, when is the love coming in? And I love messages like this that are showing that the fruits of your labor are paying off, guys. And it's going to become this beautiful, expansive thing. Just wait. It's going to be beautiful. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one.